On today's show, what have been the three biggest takeaways from the first two games of this series? It's coming back home, baby. Gonna be talking about it all on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, been a Clipper fan for 20 years, been covering the Clippers for 5 years on my own personal YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, and 3 years right here on the Locked On Podcast Network for your LA Clippers right here on Locked On Clippers. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You can listen wherever you get your podcast. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. And I want to give a big thank you to everybody. We reached 7,000 subscribers. I kept saying we were going to reach 7,000 during this series. I was hoping right before the playoffs, but nonetheless, I'm very appreciative. We got to pass Locked On Spurs and Locked On Nets, Clipper Nation. That's the next two teams we got to pass that are in the 7,000 range. So let's keep on pushing as we continue this playoff journey, because you know what the Nets and Spurs aren't doing right now? Playing playoff basketball. And you can also listen to or read the Locked On Clippers daily newsletter at lockedondaily.com. That is written by yours truly. So go over to that to sign up, or go over there to sign up. And this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets, including Game 3 and 4 at the Intuit Dome. Just take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Use code LOCKEDONNBA after creating an account for $20 off your first purchase. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the three biggest takeaways I have from the first two games of this series, in which we're tied 1-1, bringing home court advantage back to LA. If we don't lose a home game, we win this in 6. And I did predict Clippers in 6, so we got to defend home court. It's all about us as fans now to really push it. But anyway, this is the three biggest takeaways I have are the turnover battle and what has led to, the difference in turnovers each game, how each team is handling the tough pick and roll action on the other side, and then what's missing from the Clippers to just kind of take control of this series. So let's begin with what I think has been the biggest theme of the series, and that is taking care of the ball. Ty Lue kept saying before the series, we want to limit their transition opportunities. We want to take care of the basketball. We do not want to turn it over. How fitting that in the first two games of this series, the team that won committed 11 turnovers, and the team that lost committed 20 turnovers. Clippers committed 20 in the first game. Denver committed 20 in the second game. How funny is it that the superstar player on each team committed 7 in each loss? Kawhi in game 1, Jokic in game 2. Kawhi Leonard had to take better care of the ball in game 2, and he did exactly that with just 1 turnover. As a result, the Clippers won 105-102. Nikola Jokic turned the ball over 7 times, and his team lost. So the big thing for each team is going to be taking care of the ball. The fact that it was exactly the same disparity in both games, I'm looking at what the pattern is going to be going for. Is there going to be a pattern where whoever could, a lot of times, I wonder if there's a stat on this, but it feels like at every level of basketball, 90+% of the time, the team that turns the ball over more will lose. Because it's also, you're leaving it up to live ball turnovers, which is sometimes a direct numbers advantage for the other team. Now, when you look at the why did Kawhi Leonard turn the ball over so much in game 1? Well, I don't think Kawhi Leonard's the strongest passer. I think he's a solid passer, but nothing more than solid. He at times takes a while to see the floor, release the ball. His processing speed is not as fast as some of the other great all-time small forwards. However, and I say all-time small forwards to compliment him because he's one of them and better than them at a lot of things as well. But it wasn't just Kawhi's fault that he had 7 turnovers. The spacing, when the Nuggets inevitably are going to double, they're going to load up, has to be better. You can't just sit every single person but one on the opposite side of the court and sit them behind the three-point line and not have anyone cut. That is going to be impossible for Kawhi to make a good play. He's going to have to throw it across the court, make a skip pass, and then whoever's on that weak side can, with the ball being in the air that long, against NBA length and size, they're going to pick off that pass most likely. So you need someone to flash at the foul line. You need someone to come into Kawhi's line of vision, especially because he's not the best skip passer in the world. He's not a Luka or LeBron in that regard. But what he can do is he can pull up before the double team arrives and force you to hard double to get the ball out of his hands, which the Nuggets might do in game 3. Because in game 2, that loading up, that stuff didn't work. And when we responded to the doubles better in game 2 with guys flashing to the middle, there was one time where Zubac in the fourth quarter caught the ball at the foul line and threw up a push shot after Kawhi got doubled. There was another time where Norman Powell curled around, caught the ball, floater. So just being more aware of, look, someone's open if they're loading up on Kawhi. Just because they're getting ready for Kawhi to drive means nothing for the team, for us, because you're sending over another body. You're leaving a body. You're turning your back to your man to help on Kawhi. If you are said man, you got to move. Because there's this concept in the NBA now with the spacing and giving guys room to work. But if the entire defense is fixated on you, unless you have a guy that can hit contested pull-ups or contested jumpers like a Kawhi, like a Kevin Durant, you are like you being on the opposite side of the court and just standing around is not helping them. It's not giving them any space when a guy has completely left you to get ready for the drive. So it really comes, and that might be a little bit of coaching too. We might have really showed them the film and said, hey, look, someone's got to flash. Someone's got to move. Less Ben Simmons, I think that was part of it as well. Only 8 minutes in game 2 as opposed to 13 in game 1. So those 5 minutes in an NBA playoff game is a lot when you really think about it. As far as Denver, how do we force Jokic into more turnovers? I think we really doubled down on our strategy, which was, if Zoo's guarding him in the post, we leave him single coverage. But if anyone else is guarding him, we double. And then we start rotating. And that's one thing we're really, really good at, is rotating, scrambling. And we're on a string at times. We have guys that really want to guard. We have guys that are really good in the passing lanes, that have active hands, great closeout speed. Kawhi Leonard twice, he did a great job of Xing out, playing 2 at once, forcing the pass from Jokic that ended up being the wrong pass, the wrong read. And you rarely see Jokic make the wrong read, but Kawhi has the ability to stunt and then have his huge claws, pick off a pass. It's really quite remarkable what he can do on both ends of the floor. If you want to talk about the turnover battle, yeah, the moral of the story is taking care of the ball is the most important thing in this series. But if you want to simplify the analysis, Kawhi Leonard was better in game 2 and the Clippers won. Jokic was better in game 1 and the Nuggets won. It's really that simple. Sometimes it can just come down to that because, these are pretty even teams. That's why they're the 4 and the 5. That's why they finished with the same record in the regular season. So in terms of what we were doing better, I thought when Murray and Joker went to that pick and pop, we did that little peel switch where Zubac was in drop coverage. Our guy fights over the screen until Murray gets rid of the ball. And Jokic has this pretty slow, shot release, but he doesn't get blocked because he's so tall and he's got a high release point. But we seem to be okay. And Jokic just doesn't really take contested threes like that. Only end of the shot clock or open threes. So we know that Murray will throw it out to Joker and Chris Dunn will, for example, just switch right there. But what has then happened is now you have Joker against Chris Dunn, which was forcing a lot of doubles, and then now we get the defense in rotation. But as a result, Jokic only had 16 shot attempts. We forced him to turn the ball over 7 times. And it was a good strategy. Even though, you had 23 from Murray, you had 15 from MPJ, you had 14 from Gordon, 14 from Russ. But the fact that you got Jokic to turn the ball over 7 times, huge. And a lot of it is, the anticipation. The guys like Derrick Jones, Nico Batum. We've been, third best defensive team in the league this season. So it doesn't surprise me one bit. I said we had more resistance guarding them than what they had to guard us. And coming up, going to talk about how each team has been handling the most lethal action on the other side. Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Amazon Fire Stick TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab, and you know what's funny? I actually need a Fire Stick really bad because certain TVs don't carry the NBA app, and that's a problem. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. With 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. Hosts with a hardcore gaming experience can share their experience and how Fire TV Stick 4K can be a game changer. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. All right, talking about Clippers, Nuggets, the three biggest takeaways. The first is the turnover battle. I mentioned the teams that have not committed 20 turnovers have won the games, and it starts with the best player on each team. Now, how are the Clippers going to guard the Murray Jokic pick and pop? And how are the Nuggets going to guard the Harden Zoo pick and roll? Well, in the first game, looked like neither team had much of an answer. The Nuggets went with both drop coverage with Joker and putting hedging, throwing Joker on the ball. We exploited both coverages. I mean, Harden can make that pass, whether it's the pocket pass in the drop coverage or the over-the-top pass. Zubats was making great decisions in the short roll in the first half of that first game. And then when they went drop, it was like Harden had a red carpet run to the rim. So, and it created offense for us late in game one. So the takeaway was going into game two, we should probably do that more. But it ended up being a little bit of, and they came with the same strategy. Some drop, they started in drop, then they went with two on the ball. So it was kind of the opposite of the previous game. But, Joker, I thought did a better job of being a little bit more aggressive on those, hedges. But I still think we get really good results. I looked up before this episode what the points per possession are right now with Nikola Jokic. I'm sorry, not Nikola Jokic. If it's a Zubats as the roller in pick and roll. And, I have to say these stats are not extremely great because, for example, do you know who the number one pick and roll points per possession as the pick and roll man is in the NBA playoffs right now? Aaron Nesmith. Aaron Nesmith has probably set like 2 screens in the entire playoffs so far. So right now, the number one big, which actually might be a relevant sample size, is Zach Edey. Funny enough, even though his team's getting crushed. But Zubats right now as the pick and roll man is averaging 1.25 points per possession, and Nikola Jokic is 1.29 points per possession. So, yeah, I would say that. And by the way, those are not all pick and rolls with James Harden. Although James Harden's pick and roll ball handler points per possession for the first 2 games was not what I thought it was. It didn't really match the eye test. It was less than 1. So, I mean, those are the stats, but that's why I think stats are not everything. If you're wondering who had the highest points per possession on pick and rolls during the regular season, it was It always has. It was Tyrese Halliburton of players that actually mattered. Technically, Karis LeVert. If you want to talk about guards that probably ran a significant amount of pick and rolls, because number one is Jamal Cain. So forget that. This is stupid. See, this is why sometimes I don't just go through the rabbit hole with stats, because like we don't got all that time, and I don't think they tell the full story. So I still think they got no answer for the Harden Zubats pick and roll. I really don't. What is their what are they supposed to do about it? I think the hedging probably works better than the drop, because when they're locked in, they do a pretty good job of taking away that first pass. So it makes you, make a longer pass. But overall, they still just don't have much for it. When you look at I know it's only 2 games, so the stats or whatever, but if you look at the stats of this series right now, James Harden's averaging 25, 4.5, and 9 on 46, 40, 100 splits. So James Harden in these first 2 games has been great. He obviously was much better in game 1, but in second game, I thought his defense was better and he made less mistakes. Actually, if he turned the ball over 4 times, but yeah, I think he overall made less mistakes overall in the game. Not boxing out and not getting a rebound is a mistake. Losing sight of your man is a mistake. He, in the second half, last game, I don't remember saying anything about his defense that was bad. So that's huge. Not screwing up is important in the playoffs. Very important. And he obviously dodged the bullet with that outlet pass, but I still think, he's 25 points a game, 18 points in game 2, 30, 18 points in game 2. He had 42. No, my math is so bad. He had 32 points in game 1. Blah. Jesus. Did I really just do that? Ugh. That's embarrassing. Whatever. It's 3 a.m, so you got to give me a pass. And, I've been talking for 17 minutes straight. Okay, whatever. James Harden. I promise I'm not dumb, guys. My mental math was good. Remember those time tests you used to take back in class? And you used to have to do them in a minute. I was pretty good at those. Now, when we talk about graphing and geometry, it's a different story. But I'll tell you what about geometry of the basketball court. They can't guard the Harden Zoo pick and roll. That's that geometry. They can't guard it. You know what I'm saying? They can try to shrink the floor all they want. I think Harden, whether they put 2 on the ball, whether they switch, he will be able to find whatever he wants. I think they still have Jamal Murray cannot guard Kawhi and Harden. He just can't. So we got to keep hunting his ass this game. Now, as far as what we're doing, look, there's no. And by the way, Kawhi, Zoo pick and roll, not too bad either. But in terms of Jamal Murray, Jokic, pick and pop, one of the hardest actions to guard, of course, in the league. Maybe the hardest. I like this idea. When we won the game, so the onus is going to be on them to switch the strategy. I think we're still going to do that drop coverage, peel switch. Who's guarding the Murray is going to just immediately switch on a Jokic. We're going to double. Then we're going to hope that those role players don't make shots at Intuit. That's definitely going to be the strategy. So it's not ideal, but honestly, hostile environment, make the others beat you. I'll take my chances. See, it's funny because I just said there's no great answer for them. There's no great answer for us either. Despite how good of a defensive team we are, they are going to adjust and their spacing is going to be better in game 2. I can promise you that. But what are the Clippers missing from just blowing the series wide open? Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about Game Time. Game Time is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets. There's nothing like the atmosphere of an NBA playoff game. I cannot wait for Thursday. Every bucket, every stop, every moment feels huge. The electricity in the arena at Intuit should be actually insane. And people are asking me, how can I get last minute tickets? Game Time is your answer. Game Time makes it fast and easy to get playoff tickets, even when demand is sky high. Prices on the app actually go down as tip-off gets closer, and their last-minute deals can save you up to 60%. Here's why I use Game Time. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports with Game Time, literally. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guarantee. All right. So game 3, Thursday. What a night it should be. I might just mess around and wake up and do a what does this night mean for Clipper Nation kind of night, kind of pod tomorrow morning if I'm feeling like that. But this is going to be one of the most memorable nights, win or lose, memorable nights in the history of this franchise. History. I can do a whole pod. I'll see what I can do. I might do a whole pod on it because it means that much. But you know what's missing from the Clippers right now? I mean, Harden's doing his part. Zoo's doing his part. Let's see what Zoo's averaging in this series. 18 and a half and 12 and a half rebounds. 3 assists, 2, and a block. I'm sorry, a steal, not a block. On 64% shooting. So the big three is doing their thing. But you know who's not? Bogdanovich and Norm. Norm did have a good ending to that last game, but he's only averaging 12 and a half points, and he's averaging 35 minutes. He's shooting 13 shots a game, which is more than Zoo right now. And he's shooting 38.5% from the field. He's weirdly shooting 40% from 3 and only 38.5% from the field. And how about 33% from the free throw line? I know he's only shot 3 free throws in the series, but really? We need better from Norm, and I expect better. I expect that he's going to be home at Intuit. He's been lights out shooting there. Let's see what he shot from 3 this season at Intuit. I'm going to look at it right now. At home this season in 33 games, he shot 41% from deep at Intuit and 49% from the field. So I'm really hoping that he can translate that into this game because if we just have a couple more Norm shots, I think we can really create some separation where we're not having a heart attack at the end of the game. This series might just be one of those that every game is a heart attack. I feel like the Clippers, bring the entertainment to every series they participate in, which is hard for us as fans, but also a relief when we win. 2021 Dallas series was epic. We still talk about it to this day. And it's not just Clipper fans that talk about that series. Other fans remember it too. Obviously, the last 2 years, we've had Kawhi injured, so it's been underwhelming. But, even in 2020 in the bubble, that Luka game winner ended up being famous. But I don't like talking about the bubble because it's not real playoffs without fans. I said that before the bubble started. You can check my first episode of Dime Dropper. It's not like I'm just saying it because I'm bitter. I'm happy that we lost because then Glenn Rivers got fired and we got Ty Lue. And then, I gained 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So it's honestly the best thing that ever happened to this franchise. No, the best thing that ever happened to this franchise is V. Stiviano. Shout out the GOAT. But anyway, speaking of V. Stiviano, Donald Sterling being gone and Ballmer having this night that he's envisioned, which is the playoff first game at Intuit. I hope it's a safe haven for our role players. You know what I'm saying? For the guys like Norm to feel comfortable and knock down shots. Bogey has not scored in the series yet. That's ridiculous. He was one of the biggest reasons we went on that 18-3 run the last 21 games and why our three-point shooting got so much better towards the end of the season. I expect better from Bogey. I just hope that he doesn't miss his first couple of shots and the crowd starts groaning because everyone knows what's going on and he starts losing his confidence. Might even need to start some Bogey chants to uplift him. And that's where we get to the wall and the arena tomorrow. Or today, I should say, because it's already 3 a.m. when I'm recording this. I'm definitely going to have to do an episode. On what this means because it's special. It's not just another playoff game. It really isn't. If you do not have a change in the sound of your voice by the end of that game, you have failed if you're in attendance. You have failed. You are not there to just watch. First of all, I can't tell you what to do with your money that you pay, but if you're a Clipper fan and you're there to just watch, shame on you because there's millions of fans around the world that would kill to be in your spot and root their asses off. If we put all our sounds together, this game will be the loudest game in Clipper history because of the acoustics of the arena, because of how close we are to each other. And if you are not excited for the first game that Kawhi Leonard is going to play healthy in front of a sold-out crowd, knock on wood, because game 3, the day of it, I went to get a haircut in 2023, and I saw Twitter, and it was Kawhi's out. I was like, what? So we are so close. And with the wall, with the swell, with Denver and Westbrook coming back, and it's just cinema. The only thing that pisses me off is NBA TV. Are you out of your mind? Even Charles Barkley, shout out to Charles Barkley, even went out on TNT and said it's a joke that the Memphis Grizzlies Oklahoma City Thunder series is being shown instead of our game. That is an absolute outrage. Whoever made that decision should be fired immediately, and I'm not even exaggerating. They should be fired. You have the best player in the league that's won 3 out of the last 4 MVPs. You have the 4-5 matchup in the superior conference, the best series that's had 2 classics already out of 2, and a bunch of players that have built your brand for the last 15 freaking years, and you put it on NBA TV, a channel that not everybody has, so people are going to be streaming on Stream East or whatever. That's pathetic. I know I'm going to the game, but when I see the highlights of this game in 20 years, in 30 years, and show it to, if I ever have kids and grandkids, and it's going to be on NBA TV broadcasted by, I saw potentially Jared Greenberg, who is fantastic sideline reporter, doing play-by-play though. No Harlan, no Breen, no Anderson, no Rucco, no Dave Pasch, no Mark Jones. For the first game in your newest arena in the best series of your first round as a product? After those first 2 games? I know it's too late now, or is it? Make the call. Put that Memphis game on NBA TV and just do a little longer pregame show. It's probably too late, but shame on you. Shame on you. I don't care that I'll be at the game. It's the precedent of it all. NBA TV. Honestly, it doesn't matter if you're watching on NBA TV. You're going to hear us from the Himalayas tomorrow or today. It don't matter. Wear blue, by the way. The Wall has told me that everybody should be wearing blue. The Clips are going to wear their Navy jerseys, it seems, so I'm going to wear my Batum Navy jersey, but any blue will suffice. Wear blue, apparently. I want a red out at some point of this playoffs, but it says wear blue. They're saying wear blue. If you arrive early, you'll get the Kawhi shirt. Apparently, they're only giving out rally towels and noisemakers. Do not be reliant on your noisemaker. Use your freaking vocal cords. This is not a game. If everybody, well, it is a game, but if everybody goes crazy all at once, this place is going to be insane. It's going to put the Laker crowd to shame, and there's nothing that I like more than when we make their crowd look mid. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where I'm having a live after every game and vlogs after every game. I've literally done 2 out of 2. The grind do not stop, Clipper Nation. When it comes to you guys and what you need and being in the playoffs, we do not take it for granted because we were started from poverty. Shout out V. Stiviano. Shout out Steve Ballmer. What a moment this is going to be, guys. You know, want me to tell you something before I end this pod? Want me to tell you something? Damn, my energy's on 100 at 3:15 in the morning right now. I have talked to many Clipper fans about if they're going to the games this week. Only one, someone very near and dear to my heart, but only one has said that they're not going to either. Everyone I know that's a Clipper fan is going to one of the 2, if not both. This is special. I just hope that the atmosphere lives up to my wildest imagination. My vlogging inspiration is going to be there from across the world. And I want him to be raving on my vlog about how great this crowd is. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more NBA playoff content from around the league and, of course, coverage on your LA team. Shout out to the Kings, baby. 2-0, the only LA team to win both their first games. And, of course, Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you subscribe. We want to pass Locked On Spurs and Locked On Nets by the end of the series. How about that? How about by the end of the postseason? But let's go by the end of the series. I'm trying to get greedy. And by the way, you can also, I don't know if I've already said it, you can listen to this wherever you get your podcasts. Sign up for the newsletter at lockedondaily.com and go over to Locked On Nuggets and put Clipper Nation and every single video that they post. It's good engagement. They'll them to subscribe as well, but you got to troll a little bit because Nick did that to me last year, and this year we're setting the tone. Because guess what? They won, so maybe it's the trollers that win. The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers. I will see you all at Intuit Dome. But you know what? I'll probably see you before then with another pod because I'm like so amped right now. Go Clips.